All right, here we go. For problem number 1, it says select the valid similarity statements. So there might be more than one. It's really just been the bow ties. So, well, I guess because it says plural, maybe they have it represented two ways, so we'll check, all right? But I know for a fact that I can prove similarity on this. How do I know that? Because we've done this problem a million times. The measure of angle SEG is equal to the measure of angle KJG, which is equal to 82 degrees. And then I also know that this angle is congruent to this angle. Why? Can somebody tell me why? Yep, they're vertical angles. So vertical angles are congruent. So that means that the measure of SGE is equal to the measure of K, whoops, got to put my little angle symbol there. The measure of angle KGJ. Okay. So then that means that these two triangles are similar. In other words, GSE is similar to GKJ. GSE, GKJ. That seems right. JGK. Do you know why this at B isn't going to work? Because you got to have the corresponding parts. So if you look at A and B, right, B, they're basically the same triangle, but why is B not the right answer? Yeah, G has to correspond to G. They both share the point G. J does not correspond to G, so that's why that one doesn't work. I just wanted to point that out. Any questions? All right, let's move on to the next one. Again, we're asked to find the value of x. These triangles are similar. So SZ is where x is, and then I'm just going to say ZT. So SZ, or ZS, however you want to call it, corresponds to PL. And then I did ZT, which corresponds to LW. Alright, so I've got x over 24 is equal to 39 over 36. Cross multiply. 39 times 24 is equal to 36 times x. So I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator and I'm going to clear this out. So I'm going to say 39 times 24. That gives me 936. That's equal to 360 or 36x. Sorry. Then I'm going to divide by 2. I think the answer is 26, but let's see. Divide by 36. I said divide by 2, but I meant to say. I'm going to stop talking now and just write it down. How about that? Well, let me show you what I did. I divided both sides by 36. And then this becomes 26. 36 divided by 36 is 1. 1 times x is x. Does that make sense? Any questions on that one? All right. How do you guys feel about this last problem? Thumbs up if you think you could do that on a test. Okay, good. Moving on to the next one. Did I really do all these that way? I guess I did. Huh. So for problem number 3, again, we're asked to find the similarity, or not similarity, but to find the length of the altitude of ME, and we're told that the triangles are similar. So ME is what I gotta find, and I'm given AM. Alright, so then that must correspond to NE, and then that corresponds to CN. So over here, ME, I still don't know what ME is, but AM is 30, NE is 12, and this is 5. Okay? So again, I'm just going to cross multiply. By the way, the answer is 72. But I'm going to cross multiply, so I'm going to say 30 times 12 is equal to 5 times ME. Get out my handy dandy calculator, and I'm going to say figure 30 times 12, which is 360, but I like to plug it in the calculator. 5 times ME. Divide both sides by 5. Does that make sense? Can I do what? Move it like this, you mean? Sorry about that. Okay, so just a real quick recap. This corresponds to this. This corresponds to this. Then we set up our proportions, cross multiply. We're left with one variable. Go through and do the algebra, and we get 72. Okay? Again, it's very critical that we set things up properly. If I put CN on top and NE on the bottom, we would not get the same answer. So it's very important that we pick out the corresponding parts. For problem number 4, I'm going to do this. You guys should do this too, because we're going to have to do a lot of work for problem number 4. So I'm going to kind of divide my worksheet like this by just drawing a line. We'll do the work for number 5 over here. But we're told that a lumber mill needs one more tree cut down that has to be at least 37 feet long. The person cutting down the tree is 5 feet 3 inches tall. Using shadows to determine whether a tree is tall enough, the person stands next to the tree and measures the length of his shadow as 49 inches. So you got this guy, and he is 5 foot 3 inches, and his shadow is 49 inches. He needs to find a tree that's 37 feet, and it says what is the length of the tree shadow that will allow the tree to be cut down. So they want to know the shadow that it cast. Alright, but we have feet and inches. So the first thing I got to do is I've got to convert this 37 feet into inches. So I know that the conversion factor from feet to inches is 1 foot per 12 inches. Well, I got to decide, where do I put the 12 inches and where do I put the 1 feet? I'm going to put 1 foot on the bottom, 1 feet. 1 foot on the bottom, because that lets me cross cancel the feet. And then it leaves me with the unit inches. So now I just multiply across 37 times 12 all over 1 times 1, and then we have inches. So let's plug that in the calculator and see what we get, shall we? So I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to say 37 times 12. 444 inches. So this is 444 inches. That's how tall the tree has to be, is 444 inches. Okay. So now I've got to convert the dude's height. Well, he's 5 feet. So we do the same thing, except we're going to say 5 feet times the conversion factor of 12 inches per 1 foot. Feet and feet cancel. I get 5 times 12 on the top, 1 times 1 on the bottom. I'm left with the unit of inches. That's 60 inches. Well, he is 5'3", so 60 plus 3 equals 53 inches. So this guy, not 53, 63. 63 inches. Okay? So now I have everything in inches. So to set up my proportion, and I don't know if you guys can see this or not, I'm going to compare the little guy, which is 63 inches over 49 inches, and that would have to equal 444 inches all over, we don't know yet. So the next step would be to cross multiply 444 times 49 equals 63 times x. Let's see what 444 times 49 is. 21,756 has to equal 63x. Divide both sides by 63. And I get 345.33 inches. In other words, the shadow has to be 345 1/3 inches. But we're asked to round to the nearest foot. That's what the question asks. It says round to the nearest 1/10 of a foot. Okay. So I got to convert this now back to feet. Oh, when will this end? So I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to write it right here. I need 345.33 inches times the conversion factor. Now, how many inches are in a foot? 12. Do I put 12 inches on top or 12 inches on bottom? Can we cross out the inches that way? So he says, put them on top. Because I'm converting to feet. If I put it on top, can I cross cancel the inches? No, I'll have something inches squared. Inches times inches is inches squared. But if I put it on the bottom, I can cross cancel. And I'm left with feet. So that's how I convert it. So that's going to be 345. Boy, this is a lot of math. 345.3 repeating times 1, which is itself, divided by 12. And the answer will be in feet. Divided by 12. So I get 28.7 repeating. So what can my shadow be if I round to the nearest 10th? X, the shadow could be, all right, on the top, 28.8 if I round up. So my shadow can be 28.8 feet if I round up. How do I round up? This is the 10th spot. I look to the right of that, and I have a 7. 7 is 5 or higher, so I round this number up 1. So it becomes 28.8. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on to the next one. That was a lot of work. I'm tired. Problem number 5 says, what is the length of AF? Well, remember that when you have these parallel lines, that this and this are proportional to this and this. In other words, 66 over AF is proportional to 62 over 31. Now, I can tell you right now the answer is 33. How do I know that? What's 31 times 2? So whatever AF is, I've got to multiply it by 2 to get 66. What's 66 divided by 2? Get on my level. So now I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to say AF times, whoops, you should always put the coefficient in the front, 62 AF is equal to 66 times 31. Oh man, that's a lot of work. Somebody said, Mr. Adams, you should give us work today. It's a half day. You know what I said? Nobody cares. All right, 2046. So 62 times AF is equal to 2046. What do I do next? Divide. Divide both sides by 62. So, let's see what that is. Clear. 2046. Oops. 6 divided by 62. 33 it is, my friends. Okay. Let's keep moving. Problem number 6. I think it's 8. What do you guys think? Wait, 8 doesn't seem right. 18. What do you guys think? So, the corresponding parts are proportional. So, let me think here. Let's do 12 over 10. So, 12 corresponds to what? And 10 corresponds to what? What do I do? Cross multiply. So I'm going to get 12 times 15 is equal to 10 times x, right? No wonder you guys are tired of coming to my class. This is a lot of math. 180 equals 10x. Alright. What do I do next? See, I want to keep going over these example problems till you guys know exactly what to do. What's 180 divided by 10? 18. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, you can get this right on the test. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Then I've done my job. Any questions on that one? Number 7 is just like number 6, but it's got one little trick in there that you got to worry about. I know this is x. What's this? From here to here is 37. How do I find the length from, how do I find this length right here from here to here? No. Could I say that the total length, 37.5 minus x? that make sense? In other words, let me give you an example over here. If I have a line segment like this, and I tell you the whole thing is 20, and then I say this is 5, how do I find out what this is? Yeah, what this length right here has to be 20 minus 5, which is 15, right? Because this plus this has to equal 20. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So then what I need to do then is I'm gonna set this up the exact same way. I could say x over 37.5, that's this and this. So if I set it up this way, what does the x correspond to? The little triangle, 14. And this corresponds to this, which would be 38.5. Okay? I'm purposefully setting them up different ways so that way you can see what corresponds to what. Alright, what do I do? Cross multiply, so I'm going to say 14 times 37.5 equals 38.5x. So now on my handy dandy calculator, I'm going to say 14 times 37.5. I got 525 is equal to 38.5 times x. I'm going to divide both sides by 38.5. Do that on my calculator. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. Did you guys see what my mistake was? How come nobody stopped me? Erase this side. I don't have an eraser. Uh-oh, we made a mistake. I was talking to one of my teacher colleagues, and they said, I had a math professor in college, and he would make a mistake all the time in class, and he made us take notes. I don't know why he told me that. He was real upset that his teacher made mistakes. I was like, well, do you make mistakes when you're teaching? Yeah, but I'm not teaching math. But you're teaching a different subject. So what I forgot was to put in this minus x. Now that changes the whole dynamic of the problem, because I forgot to distribute the 14 through this expression of 37.5 minus x, which 14 times 37.5 is still 525, but I got to multiply that by negative x. So that gives me a negative 14x, and that's equal to 38.5x. Now, how did Mr. Adams know that he made a mistake? Because when I did the math the first time, I got an answer of 6. I got an answer of 63. Does 63 seem like a reasonable answer for x? No, that's crazy. So then I said, well, 63 is not a good answer. What did I do wrong? So then I went back and I said, oh, I forgot to write the whole expression down, which is a very common mistake that kids make. So anyways, now what do I do? Now that we got the correct setup, yeah, I'm going to add 14 to both sides. 14x, actually, right? So then 38.5 plus 14 is 52.5x, and that's equal to 525. Oh, this is going to be easy. If I divide 52.5 on both sides, that's 10, isn't it? Isn't 52.5 times 10, 525? So x equals 10. Now that's a reasonable answer. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions on that one? Moving right along. Holy moly, we got quadrilaterals. Where's the value of x? Well, x is rs, right? So I got to have that. And then I'm going to arbitrarily choose something else. So I'm going to say ps. R has, what does that look like? 3 arcs. What also has 3 arcs? C. S has 2 arcs. What also has 2 arcs? D. P has a 90-degree angle. A, right? And S corresponds to D, right? We already figured that out. Let's plug the numbers in. X over 36. CD is 28 over, what's AD? 24. Who thinks they could guess without doing the math? So it's 2/3. Divide that by 2, so I'd add another 14. I want to say it's probably going to be, we'll just do the math. So I've got to cross multiply, so I'm going to say 28 times 36 is equal to 24x. So then let's do the math on our calculator. I'm going to say 28 times 36, big number, 1008. 1008 equals 24x. Divide both sides by 24. What's 14 times 3? 52, I think, is the answer, right? Oh, it's time to go, too. Oh, 42. Yeah, that's right, 42. 42. Mr. Adams is not quite awake yet. All right, the bell's going to ring in a second. I'm just going to have you guys set your papers on the table right outside the